Have you ever felt touched by a kind of music that feels mysterious, almost ancient, timeless? When you are listening to this music, worlds appear in your inner mind, landscapes, cultures, and memories to long ago forgotten civilizations. One of the most fascinating examples of this kind of creative world is the music of Enya. When you listen to her music, it feels like entering another dimension, a world of misty landscapes, Celtic mythology, and quiet, spiritual beauty. In this video, we explore the archetypes behind Enya's creative universe and what personal brands and creators can learn from it. Because iconic creators don't simply produce content or music or art, they build worlds. Today we will explore the archetypes behind Enya's artistic world, why her brand is still iconic decades after, and what personal brands can learn from her. Enya was born in rural Ireland in 1961 in the Gaelic-speaking region of Donegal. She grew up in a deeply musical family and first performed with the Celtic folk band Clannad before leaving to develop her own sound. As far as I know, she was also raised as a child speaking the Old Gaelic language. And this is something very fascinating we are finding still today in her music. And this old language may have opened up for her a deeper understanding of the Celtic traditions and the rich heritage of her Irish ancestors. Together with producer Nicky Ryan and songwriter Roman Ryan, she developed a unique musical style built on layer vocal harmonies, synthesizers, Celtic influences, and atmospheric soundscapes. Her music often blends traditional, folk, ambient, and spiritual influences. And the result? More than 80 million albums sold worldwide, making her one of the best-selling artists of all time. But numbers don't explain her impact. What makes Enya truly fascinating is the world she created. One of the reasons Enya's music feels so timeless and authentic is her backstory. She didn't invent a mystical atmosphere as a marketing strategy. She grew up inside a cultural landscape that already carried that mythology. In Donegal, in the northwest of Ireland, there's a region known for its rugged coastline, ancient traditions, and strong connection to Celtic heritage. Irish music was part of her family life from the very beginning. Her parents ran a small pub where traditional music was played, and several members of her family were professional musicians. The sound of Irish folk melodies and Gaelic culture surrounded her while growing up. But what makes her artistic world even more distinctive is her connection to the Irish language, Gaelic. In several of her songs, she sings in Gaelic, a language that carries centuries of cultural memory. When you listen to it, even if you don't understand the words, you feel that it comes from somewhere ancient. This is why Enya's music feels less a commercial product and more like a portal into a different world. A world shaped by mystic landscapes, Celtic mythology, quiet spirituality, and a sense of timelessness. Her creative universe isn't built on trends, it's built on roots. And that is one of the most important lessons for personal brands and creators today. So in this part of the video, I will give you some questions if you are building up your own personal brand to be more sensitive to your own background story. And in the next part, we will explore the 4 main archetypes Enya is incorporating in all of her music. So, let me ask you the first question. To define your own background story for your personal brand. First, what landscapes or environments shaped you while growing up? A city, the ocean, forests, mountains, or a particular culture can become part of your creative world. Second, which stories, myths, or traditions influenced your imagination when you were young? Sometimes these early influences quietly become the foundation of your brand. Third, is there a language, philosophy, or spiritual tradition that shaped the way you see the world? For Enya, the Gaelic language carries cultural memory. What carries the meaning for you? Fourth, what themes appear again and again in your life and work? Nature, transformation, spirituality, creativity, rebellion, healing. These repeating themes often reveal your deeper creative archetypes and, of course, your purpose. Fifth, if someone entered the world of your brand, what would they experience? Aesthetic, values, symbols, rituals, and even atmosphere. The most powerful creative brands are not built only through strategy. They grow from something much deeper. A personal mythology, a cultural memory, a story that only you can tell. So let's have a deeper look at Enya's archetypes in her creative career. The first archetype I am witnessing here is the mystic. Enya's music feels ancient. Her songs reference Celtic mythology, spiritual longing, imaginary languages, mystical landscapes. Some of her albums even include lyrics in fictional languages created by Roma and Ryan. This archetype presents the bridge between worlds. Second, the priestess. And in this case, of course, the Celtic priestess. There's something ritualistic in her music. Her layered choirs often resemble church music, Gregorian chants, sacred sound. Enya herself said that church music and classical traditions influenced her sound. Her songs often feel like ceremonies rather than performances. And if you have a look at her clothing that she is wearing in the videos or that you can see on the cover of her LPs, she is always wearing clothes that are timeless and which are ancient. And this is the archetype of the priestess. The third archetype I strongly see in Enya is the innocent. It's a little bit like a dreamer. In songs of the Orinoco Flow, Caribbean Blue, or May It Be, you are being introduced to an imaginary landscape. And every time she performs one of these songs, it is presented in a very innocent and pure kind of angelic presence. And this is a really strong archetype, and the innocent is something very pure and raw, which is also very connected to the priestess archetype. The fourth archetype I see in her is the muse. She is able to inspire other artists and normal people as well with her music. Her music is such a great piece of art when you are writing something, when you are creating art for your own. If you are listening to this music, Enya can act like a muse in the background who is inspiring you to enter your own inner sacred chambers where you can find all these treasures and the masterpieces of art that you are searching for. And this is why Enya is such a perfect example of iconic branding. This is not something random. Enya has built a universe, and she has in her brand an aesthetic consistency. You always find Celtic mysticism there, nature, pure colors like white, blue, green, emerald. It's secondly deeply rooted in mythology. We see lots of symbols like old trees, horses, and Celtic symbols from old, long ago times. And thirdly, she is creating an emotional atmosphere. Her sound creates a feeling of healing and transcendence. And this is why younger artists still cite her as an influence today. And when you look to her music and her LPs, you will always find these mythological pictures and this consistency in her appearance, in her music as well, as in every photo or video she is releasing. And this makes an iconic brand. Enya is totally behind her brand persona. You don't know so many things about her private life, and all you see on screen is this powerful brand universe she has created. In the last part of this video, we will talk about what personal brands can learn from Enya. And this is also very important. If you are building a personal brand today, Enya teaches 3 powerful lessons. Lesson 1: don't chase niches or trends. Build your own world. Use your own root story, your backstory, to create this authentic brand world that is deeply connected to your own heritage and everything that you are valuing from your own culture and your spirituality maybe as well. Your brand becomes stronger when it has symbols, atmosphere, mythology. Second, your archetype matters. Are you a teacher, an explorer, a mystic, rebel, a muse, a sage, a magician, an archaeologist? You will have to find out what your core archetype for your personal brand will be. And this is for artists as well for coaches very important. And I've created an own archetype test. And if you are interested in this test, sign up to my Telegram group and I will send you the test, and you can also book a session with me to discuss your core archetype and what this can bring for your personal branding. And maybe, like me, you have a combination of several archetypes, and this is very important to be clear about, and then build your branding world around these archetypes. What we also learned from Enya is that consistency beats algorithms. Enya didn't build her career through constant visibility. She never ever gave a concert, for example. But she built her personal brand about deep artistic identity. And that's why her work still feels timeless. So if you are building up a personal brand, you have to really match with this brand identity. This is not something you can make up or you can play for a while. Your brand identity has to be really rooted in your personal values, in your life experiences, in the kind of personality you are, in the cultural field you are feeling home. And this is on the one hand very authentic, and on the other hand it has to be really well prepared and have to be planned. Because if you are leaving your archetype and trying to speak to your audience from an archetype that doesn't fit to you, you will create chaos, and people and your audience will feel this kind of mismatch in your messaging, and this is where branding becomes difficult. So the next time you are listening to Enya, ask yourself, what world am I creating? Because creators don't just produce content or serving a niche. They invite us to a whole universe. If you are curious about your own creative archetypes and how they shape your brand, subscribe to this channel. This is where we explore the psychology of iconic creators, and I will introduce you to many more, and I'm looking forward to your comment, to your question, and I will answer every one of them, and I'm really excited to share this beautiful journey with you.